Well, it's a good evening, a good afternoon, a good morning to wherever you're watching us from. You're just in time for the 9 p.m. wrap live at our OBTV studios. I am your captain, Jesse Gitonga. Landing is disengaged. Let's take off. You can join in the coverage through our social media platforms at OBTV Kenya, hashtag the 9 p.m. wrap, or you can reach out to me on my social media platforms at the Jesse Tosh. On to our first story. Mukurweini Member of Parliament John Kagusha has been arrested by DCI officers at the Royal Media Services offices in Nairobi following an overnight standoff with police. Kagusha took refuge at the RMS offices on Sunday evening after police and hooded men surrounded the premises over alleged inflammatory remarks he made regarding the 2027 elections at a rally in Nyeri County. Before his arrest and transfer to DCI headquarters, this morning, the legislator defended himself, claiming his words were distorted and that political speech falls under the NCIC rather than criminal police. Reacting to the arrest, Embakasi East MP Babu Owino strongly condemned the move, warning that punishing words instead of crimes endanger civil liberties and affirming that his team will defend every citizen's right to free speech without fear of intimidation. In his defense, his lawyers had this to say.
Whatever Honorable Kagusha is alleged to have done is nothing so serious in law. It's a misdemeanor. He can appear in court, he can take a plea, and he goes on to explain himself at court. What has been done by Honorable Duale and Hassan Omar is worse. And therefore we are demanding the Subarus also to go to their respective places. We want to see Subarus at Afia House. Bring Duale here so that he is also charged. The law.
Panic has gripped Nairobi's CBD after a fierce fire broke out at Lotus House near Afya Center this morning. Preliminary reports indicate people may be trapped inside the commercial building as emergency responders raced to contain the blaze. The fire originated on the first floor and spread rapidly, overwhelming early efforts by locals to extinguish it. The incident disrupted traffic along Tom Mboya Street and raised fears of spreading to a nearby petrol station. The High Court has temporarily suspended the Law Society of Kenya's planned court boycott, ruling that the action could interfere with judicial proceedings and deny litigants access to justice while a constitutional petition is pending. The petition filed by advocate Dr. Adrian Kamotho argues that the LSK has no legal mandate to direct advocates to boycott court sessions or specific judges, saying the move undermines judicial independence and the administration of justice. In response, the LSK said it respects the court's orders, but maintains that its concerns over judicial accountability remain valid. The society says it will continue pursuing reforms through lawful and constitutional means as the case proceeds. The matter will now be heard in court, where judges will determine whether the LSK boycott was within its legal mandate. A youth caucus from the Gusii region has endorsed Kisii Governor Simba Arati for the deputy president position in the 2027 general election. The group says Arati's leadership, youthful energy, and development record make him suitable for the role. The caucus is also calling for his inclusion in the broad-based government's negotiating team, saying it will mobilize support for a Ruto Arati ticket while encouraging young people to register as voters ahead of the next general election.
We as delegates and leaders from the Gusii region wish to state categorically on the following: that our collective position regarding the ongoing political consultations and coalition negotiations ahead of the 2027 general elections, we recognize the ongoing engagement between the ODM and its broad-based political partners, specifically the UDA party, as they work towards a united political formation for the 2027 elections. In light of these discussions, and of course noting the current political direction in which the ODM party is expected to support a broad-based political coalition, rather than field its own political candidates, we respectfully submit that His Excellency the President William Samoei Ruto should be considered as the coalitionist presidential candidate, while His Excellency Governor Paul Simba Arati should be considered for the position of the Deputy President as the coalitionist running mate.
The National Transport and Safety Authority has continued its crackdown on pedestrians who fail to use designated footbridges and crossings on Nairobi's major roads. Several people were arrested during a joint enforcement operation at the Transami footbridge in Pipeline. NTSA says the exercise is aimed at improving road safety, reducing traffic obstruction, and ensuring pedestrians comply with traffic rules. Members of the Machakos County Workers Union Caucus staged a protest march to the County Assembly demanding the immediate passage of the 2026-2027 county budget, which they say has delayed the disbursement of salaries and disrupted service delivery. The workers accused the county government of failing to expedite the budget-making process, warning that continued delays have left staff facing unpaid or delayed salaries and left residents without access to key services. Placard-carrying workers marched to the assembly grounds demanding that legislatures fast-track approval of the budget to allow normal operations to resume. President William Ruto's call for national dialogue has drawn a sharp response from a section of Mau Mau veterans who say compensation for freedom fighters must come before any fresh national talks. Wanza Musembi has the details.
A section of Mau Mau veterans and their descendants say the proposed national dialogue should address decades of unresolved historical injustices, including compensation for freedom fighters who helped secure Kenya's independence. The appeal comes just days after President William Ruto called for a national conversation to shape the country's future.
Na tungeomba hata serikali vile rais alikuwa anasema, yani hii maneno ihusu watu wote ambao ni ile wale watu waliachwa na wale walipigania uhuru, ili nao wafurahie ile kazi ilifanywa na baba na babu zao.
Na tungependa tu kuambia rais ya kwamba mazungumzo ambayo tunatarajia kama Wakenya ni mazungumzo kama hii, kwa sababu kuna vitu ambavyo zinafanya Kenya yetu inakuwa Kenya ambayo kuna vurugu nyingi. Ni kwa sababu watu hawajapona kwa sababu ya mambo ambao walipitia tangu ukoloni na pia hata after hiyo kupata hiyo independence.
The appeal was made in Thika during burial preparations for freedom fighter Githui wa Karue, who died without receiving compensation. The veterans say many of their colleagues have passed away while still waiting for successive governments to fulfill their promises.
We, as the children of Mau Mau, especially me personally, being in the front line of the Mau Mau family under Field Marshal Muthoni Kirima, what I would like to put across is this: let Mau Mau children be remembered first, because our children suffered, our parents suffered. Right now, Karoe, who was one of the Mau Mau fighters, has also rested. Actually, he doesn't even have a place to build his home.
The group also called for improved welfare for surviving veterans, recognition of Mau Mau descendants, access to land, preservation of historical sites, and the implementation of recommendations contained in the NADCO report. They say addressing these issues would honor the sacrifices of freedom fighters while promoting national unity. Wanza Musembi for Orbit TV.
Well, that story gives me time to take a short break, but don't go far. We'll be back with more. Welcome back. Do remember to keep the conversation going at OBTV Kenya, hashtag the 9 p.m. wrap. African Inland Church Bishop Reverend David Kipsoi has urged Kenyans to embrace religion and equality in education, saying the two virtues are key to the country achieving rapid development and becoming a first world nation like South Korea and Singapore. Speaking during a prayer meeting for Form 4 candidates at Tengeta Girls School in Bureti, Kericho County, Bishop Kipsoi said Kenya's path to faster growth lies in a society grounded in strong religious values and equal access to quality education for all. He called on students to remain disciplined and hardworking in order to excel academically, saying these qualities would be essential in shaping the country's future generation of leaders.
But from the politicians, the professionals, everybody, let us make sure that our children get conducive environment for learning. Education and schools is not a center of arrogancy, it's a center of academic excellence, because that is what education is all about. And I want to tell you, nations who have embraced quality education, like South Korea, I was from there last month. South Korea, they embrace quality education from their own language, and they are now among the first world. So I'm encouraging parents, let us discipline our children, let us put our families in order. I am asking the nation, let us put this nation in order. Because if the nation is not in order, then lawlessness will prevail.
On to some rather twisting story. For many, a straight A student represents promise, a future filled with limitless possibilities. But for Dr. Andrew Mwenga Thuka, that promise was overshadowed by drugs and alcohol. His story is now offering hope to thousands of families battling addiction. With this very wonderful story is our reporter Mwende Wambua.
He was a A-straight student who scored 82 points in KCSE, destined for a bright future. But drugs and alcohol stole 18 years of his life. Today, Dr. Andrew Mwenga Thuka is a qualified medical doctor, proving that recovery is possible. His journey into addiction began while still in Standard 7 with cigarettes before escalating to alcohol, cannabis, inhalants, and eventually injectable drugs. 22 years after leaving secondary school, he finally graduated as a medical doctor. His remarkable journey is now captured in his book, Walking Through My Own Ashes, a story of pain, resilience, and second chances.
This book documents the raw roots of addiction. It documents the consequences of addiction, whereby I was arrested multiple times, slept in cemeteries, remanded severally, taken to Madale, taken to mental hospitals severally, survived mob justice severally. All these are documented here. It also documents the family struggles and the damaged family relationships in our family, whereby I ensured that they never enjoyed any form of peace.
The addiction stole nearly 2 decades of his life, derailing his education, dreams, and future. But after seeking help and committing to recovery, he turned a new page.
The same book actually documents the turning points, breaking the cycle. How did I manage to overcome this addiction? It documents the turning points. And if you read the pages, through these pages, you'll actually be able to know how an addict can actually be able to get rid of addiction.
For parents, the pain of watching a child fall into addiction is a wound that runs deep. Many spoke of years of heartbreak and relief of seeing their children finally embrace recovery.
Lakini huyu wangu ni kijana, alinisumbua sana, hata kujaribu kujiua, hata kusoma ile makaratasi yake alipita nayo, na mimi nikaokoa hiyo makaratasi nikaivisa.
Religious leaders say the fight against drug and substance abuse requires collective action.
And as I said, even sometimes a mature person in your life, you are the one who have a sense to know what that person ought to be. Do not give up on your son. Do not give up on your daughter. Do not give up on anybody that you can find around yourself who indeed need to change from drug addiction. You need some people to work together with you.
As Dr. Mwengwa turns the painful pages of his past into a message of hope, his story stands a powerful reminder that addiction does not have to be the final chapter, and that with support, determination, and a second chance, lives can be rebuilt. Mwende Wambua, Obit TV, Nairobi.
Time for some sports. Former Ghana captain Asamoah Gyan is calling on Kenya to invest more in grassroots football, saying the country's strong focus on athletics has slowed football development. Speaking during a visit to Kenya, Gyan said identifying and nurturing young football talent is the key to building a stronger national team. He noted that while Kenya has achieved global success in athletics, football deserves equal attention and investment. Gyan urged stakeholders to strengthen youth academies, improve training facilities, and create more opportunities for young players. He believes that with proper grassroots development, Kenya has the potential to become a football powerhouse in Africa. Well, we have arrived at our destination. Hope you enjoyed the flight. I have been your one and only Captain Jesse Gitonga. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. Oh, and don't forget, and now,
don't forget.